What I heard this morning, I found a very impressive story. It brings me back to the very simple question: how and when did sustainability, climbing mountain sustainability, as you name it, start for you?
Rob, it started in the summer of 1994. We began to hear, in the United States in particular, from our customers, interior designers and architects, a question we had never heard before. What's your company doing for the environment? And frankly, we had no answers. So we convened a worldwide task force, and we brought people from our businesses around the world to come together to assess our company's worldwide position on the environment. What were we doing? And I was asked to come and speak to that group, to give them a kickoff speech, to launch the new task force with an environmental vision. And I didn't have an environmental vision. I did not want to make that speech. And I was really sweating, literally, with what to say. I could not get beyond we obey the law. Comply, comply, comply. And in the midst of that sweating, a book landed on my desk. It was Paul Hawken's book, The Ecology of Commerce. And I began to read it without any idea what was in it. And very quickly I came to a phrase, the death of birth, a phrase coined by E.O. Wilson, the Harvard biologist, to put a real face on species extinction. The death of birth, species disappearing, never ever to be born again. And it was a spear in the chest for me. It was an epiphanal experience. I read on, and Hawken outlines there the demise of the biosphere, the degradation caused by humankind, and names the biggest culprit in that, namely the industrial system, of which I was a part. And he also says the only way out of this mess is for business and industry to change, to lead toward a more sustainable future. Mm-hmm. And I took that message very, very seriously. And I made the speech to that little group of people, that assembled task force, and they were stunned when we get there.
How far from that tipping point?
Well, years.
Years?
Yeah. I had a dear friend, Donella Meadows, who wrote the book, or participated in writing the book, The Limits of Growth for the Club of Rome, 30 years ago, and then 20 years later wrote the sequel, Beyond the Limits. And Dana was one of the most brilliant people I've known. People would ask her, Dana, do we have enough time? And her standard answer was, yes, we have just enough. If we begin now.
Clear. Okay. Thank you very much for the interview. I've heard more than enough. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure to be with you.
Just one more question, and I do that with all the people I interview. Could you say, just right into the camera, the title of our program? Now that may seem a little difficult. The title of the program is called Goeie Zaken, which is good business.
Goeie Zaken?
Goeie Zaken.
I can't do that. Goeie
Yes,
Zaken.
Yes, you can, of course.
Here we go.
Just right here into the camera, into the lens. And what you can do as well is put up your thumb.
Say it one more time.
Goeie Zaken.
Goeie Zaken.
Exactly.
Goeie Zaken.
Okay, once again, one more.
Goeie Zaken. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Went well. Went very well. Thanks very much.
Indeed, you're welcome, Rob.